Hey everybody, Adam Lowy here with Move for Hunger, and I am here with my friend Julie Andreola of the Asbury Park Dinner Table. And we are so grateful to have you on today because I lived in Asbury Park for 6 years. Our organization was based in Asbury for a very long time, and that community really means the world to me. I'm really excited to learn a little bit more and have our audience learn a little bit more about the work that you were doing until continue to do as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. So Julie, can you tell us a little bit about the Asbury Park Dinner Table?
Sure. So we got started in March of last year, which, if you'll recall, something else got started around that time too. And it was the COVID-19 pandemic. Unfortunately, it was about to wreak havoc on Asbury Park in more than one way. One of the biggest ways being that we are a tourism industry, we're a hospitality industry, and here we are suddenly limited to takeout only. Restaurants are major employers in town. And basically all of the great, awesome downtown beachfront activities you see in Asbury Park aren't as significant, aren't as much of a draw as they would be, with restaurants. So it became very clear to us very early that something had to be done to step in to get cash flow to these mom and pop owned businesses. So we started there, and then we're thinking, okay, well, could we buy gift cards? Could we, take up a collection? If we do that, what do we do with the food? It's the beginning of COVID. Nobody knows how to handle food. So we were able to make some really awesome connections between our downtown restaurants, some people in town who were really early interested in funding the project. And, unfortunately, there is a ton of food insecurity in Asbury Park. So the food was always going to be needed.
And your model works a little bit differently, right? So it's different than someone going to a food bank or a food pantry just for food. Can you explain a little bit more how you get the restaurant owners involved?
Sure. So basically, we put a call out saying, hey, we want to help small businesses. We want to make sure you guys are getting your cash flow, making rent, keeping your employees on staff. We rounded up a network of restaurants who were highly interested and who saw this as a possible continuation of their model in the short term. And so we had the restaurants signing on, because what we're doing in food insecurity all the time is we find sources of food, we connect them with people who don't have food. And so here in Asbury Park, you all of a sudden have dozens of restaurants that have the capacity to make the food. In many cases, they had the supplies on hand and needed someone to buy it and somewhere to serve it. So that was where we got started. And then as it became apparent that both the restaurants would still need the cash flow and the people would still need the food, it became a continuous model where we were now purchasing new meals and they were turning around and doing our meals as part of their volume buys for the week.
Yeah, and the restaurant scene in Asbury is, second to none. I mean, Asbury Park has some really,
Yay!
really good food.
Greetings from Asbury Park.
So for all of these chefs and restaurateurs to, it wasn't this model where they were donating at the time, they were getting paid. And I think that's what's so cool about it is it actually kept that whole industry, if you'll call it, afloat during these really challenging times. And I know we're still in these challenging times, but with so much reduced capacity, any bit of increased capacity really helped them move along. So kudos to you and really the Asbury community coming together to make that happen. How did you specifically, like personally, decide to take that step to get involved with the Asbury Park Dinner Table?
So we actually, Kathy Kelly, who's another awesome woman in food insecurity, and one of my co-founders, she's the owner of Paranormal Books here on Cookman Avenue. And I do this, by the way, because it's right behind me. So she's one of the co-owners. And so she's looking at all of her fellow business owners, and they're all kind of trying to figure out, okay, we're all in this together. Like, we can't survive without you and vice versa. So it was actually Kathy's brainchild. And then she called me up. I have a ton of fundraising nonprofit background, and we kind of cobbled it all together. And when you say community, I mean, it was, yes, it's the two of us, but we also have 3 other co-founders. We have major sponsors. We have 40 boots on the ground volunteers who are serving the meals 3 times a week. So I am one of 50, and we are all volunteers.
So I know early on, we at Move for Hunger were able to help you. We teamed up with New Jersey Farmers Against Hunger.
Yeah.
We rescued a whole bunch of fresh produce that was going to go to waste. We got that food to you. I think it was corn and a whole bunch of other things. What was the process? We literally brought you bins of fresh food, and then what happened with that?
That was a new experience, I think, for some of us, definitely me. So basically, we were able to take these giant, and I had never, I had never seen bins of food that large. Um, I think it was like a few 100 pounds of corn, one of those huge bins of peppers. There were onions, a few other ingredients in there, and so basically, we gave that to the restaurants for them to incorporate into the meals that they're making for us, which enabled us to lower the price per meal that we paid that week. So that ended up saving us, you save $4 to $5 per meal on 1,000 meals. That's a pretty significant, that's almost a week of the program that adds on.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
we're
incredible.
always looking for more avenues to be able to support you, and just so cool how you've been able to really um, create this program that supports an entire community. It's so unique, and I feel like it's very easily replicable. That this program
Yeah.
can really turn up in other cities across the country at this point.
Yeah, I know of at least one in Bergen County that started out not long after we did, but the New Jersey Economic Development Authority actually just created I think it was $12 million grant program based on this model. Actually, they don't say we did it because of Asbury Park Dinner Table, but it's essentially the model. It's a nonprofit purchases meals from a restaurant to keep the restaurants getting the cash flow, and then serving them at churches, Boys and Girls Club, other other places around town where you might find someone in need of a meal.
Well, I think it's awesome. We're picking this month to recognize you and the Asbury Park Dinner Table, because we're trying to find some of those awesome female leaders that are doing really awesome things within the space of food insecurity. So, just one final question for other female leaders out there. What advice would you give them for folks that are trying to make change?
So COVID has done this really awesome thing for all of us, which is that, you're literally in my house right now. So you're getting me in my most comfortable environment. And it's allowed a lot of us to just be a little bit more honest, I think. We can comfortably say, we need to have these uncomfortable conversations about food insecurity and about an economy shutting down. Um, and it makes it possible for us to make those really deep connections. And as women, don't be afraid. I would say, even in this sphere where I'm a volunteer, I show up every day, I do not get paid. I sometimes have a tendency to wait for permission. And you may have actually said that to me at some point, not about gender in any way, but in terms of doing good work for other people. When it comes to helping people, don't wait for permission for the most part.
Absolutely. Just do it, right?
Absolutely.
Well, Julie Andreola, Asbury Park Dinner Table, thank you so much for sharing a little bit of your story, a little bit of your advice, and for all that you do. We really do appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Adam. You guys do awesome work. Appreciate it.
Thank you.